Hi there, so it's Robert Giorgione for robertgiorgione.com, your friendly roving sommelier. So I'm here at one of my favourite restaurants, the Providores in Marylebone, London, with a very interesting chap, a guy called Sam Lockyer, who's from New Zealand. He's from Forrest Wines in Marlborough. Sam, how are you today?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Robert.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you've become involved with Forrest Wines.
Well, basically, it's a funny story how I got involved with Forrest. It goes back about 6 years now. Actually, my parents were old, long-term friends of John and Bridget Forrest, and have been long-term drinkers of Forrest wines. I ended up, doing a sabbatical first year out of college, and ended up picking grapes on the vineyard during harvest, and funny enough, gained a passion for it. Ended up studying wine science through the EIT Hawke's Bay, and funny enough, landed myself a job in the UK acting as brand manager for Forrest Wines over here. So,
which vintage was that?
The first vintage I did,
Yeah,
would have been '05.
'05. That was a pretty good year.
It was a good.
And
year.
the vineyards are located in Marlborough, aren't they?
We've got 6 vineyards in Marlborough, where we actually set up in 1988. We've also got a vineyard in the Gimlet Gravels, Hawke's Bay, 1988. We also set that up. And we've also got land in Otago. We've got Central Otago, Bannockburn, and we've also got I think it's probably the biggest up-and-coming region within New Zealand, which is the Waitaki Valley, which is ancient sort of riverbed, laced with a bit of limestone as well. So great for Pinot Noir, Pinot Gris, bit of Chardonnay as well.
You're very well known for your Rieslings, aren't you? I've been a big fan of your wines for many years. We're going to taste some wines later. Tell us a little bit about your wines.
Well, basically, Dr. John Forrest, I should say, is absolutely passionate about Riesling. In fact, at one stage, I think about 2 years ago, we made about 10 different styles of Riesling, ranging from very dry, steely, mineral style off the Wyrell, going through to the noble and botrytized, which we're probably most famous for in New Zealand. We also make, basically in 2006, we were the first to make what is now known as the Doctor's Riesling. Funny enough, John and Bridget Forrest, both doctors. But it was the first cabernet style really made in New Zealand. So, picking at that early sort of 1920 bricks level, stopping the alcoholic fermentation, around 8.5%, and leaving 40 grams per litre residual sugar.
So the Rieslings are much more inspired by Germany and
absolutely.
Yeah, and also now you're experimenting with some other varietals. I've tasted recently your Grüne Veltliner and your Arnais. I'm really encouraged and really interested in these varietals, and I think New Zealand has a big potential to follow your lead with these interesting grape varieties. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I think New Zealand got lucky 30 years ago, really, and in the sense that we saw that a mainstream grape varietal like Sauvignon Blanc went fantastically in Marlborough, and we just ran with it. But what we haven't done is branched out to some of those other interesting varieties like Grüne Veltliner from Austria, Arnais from Piedmont area of northern Italy. Who's to say that these aren't going to be the next big thing in Marlborough and certainly the rest of New Zealand? They're
very food-friendly varietals, aren't they? And I think a natural progression for you to take as something quite interesting to help the consumer to make a bit more of a discovery.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, in New Zealand we obviously love our food. We love fresh ingredients. You're never far from the sea in New Zealand, and of course fresh lamb and whatnot. But the other 2 interesting varieties that we're playing with at Forrest and Marlborough. One's Saint Laurent, which is a red varietal from Austria as well. So it's a thin-skinned grape. I guess very similar to Pinot Noir in the way that it behaves. And we think, with Marlborough's growing at degree days, sunshine hours, low rainfall, it should go very, very well.
And here at Providores, you're serving your wines.
We have got several wines. We've got our Grüne Veltliner by the glass at the moment,
which we're going to taste later with some food, aren't we?
We are going to.
Yeah.
We've also got the white, which is the multi-regional, multi-varietal in what we call the John Forrest Collection range, which is our super premium. So that's sort of a showcase of how we, as Forrest, have taken the best 3 terroirs in New Zealand. We've taken Viognier from the Gimlet Gravels, taken Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, Gewürz, Chardonnay and Chenin Blanc, all from our Marlborough vineyards. And we've also taken Pinot Gris from our Bannockburn vineyard in Otago.
I think you showed that wine at the Providores pop-up restaurant, didn't you?
We did.
Which I went to last year. That was amazing.
And as I would describe it and have done many times, a sommelier's dream. But hopefully we will, prove that to you later on.
Well, on that note, let's conclude this interview. Thank you very much. Great opportunity to have a chat with you. And we'll taste some wines now.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Sam.